watching KPVM News 46. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back. Let's join Angela Miles with today's Business First Brief.
Topping our news, a new NAFTA deal might not include Canada. The deadline for a trade deal between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada is September 30th. Canada is refusing to make concessions. A U.S. official says time is running out, and it's possible Canada won't be in the new NAFTA. Traders are said to be nervous. The deal affects $1.2 trillion in trade, such as cars and trucks. Square just scored a win with investors. That stock shot up on word the fintech company is rolling its payroll services into a mobile app. Payroll stocks, ADP, and Paychecks rolled lower on that news. It's official. Michael Kors is breaking into the ultra high-end world of fashion by acquiring Versace for $2.1 billion. Kors will also pick up Versace's debt. Kors is changing its name to Capri Holdings.
Thanks, Angela. Well, let's see what's happening in our court system with Unette Gentry.
In this week's court report, Mitchell Robinson, the 21-year-old Pahrump man, facing the charge of murder after being arrested under suspicion of causing the death of his 6-month-old child, remains in custody, no bail, after having his case bound over to district court. Robinson was arrested first after detectives say during their interview with the father, he admitted to shaking his baby several times on the day the infant stopped breathing. Then the child's 22-year-old mother, Amanda Ellen Ramsey, was arrested for child abuse charges connected to the death of her 6-month-old child. The Nye County DA's office obtained a warrant for Ramsey's arrest after detectives discovered additional evidence indicating that Ramsey had been aware of several prior occasions when Robinson was physically abusive to their child. Police say the evidence further showed that Ramsey failed not only to protect that child, but had also been a part of several abusive acts prior to the child's death. The child's father, Robinson, had a preliminary hearing scheduled on September 6th, but it was vacated. During Robinson's last court proceeding, a motion hearing, the prosecuting attorney briefed the record. Pursuant to negotiations, the defendant will unconditionally waive preliminary hearing and enter a guilty plea in district court to 1 count of child abuse with substantial bodily harm, a Category B felony with an exposure of 2 to 20 years in prison. At time of sentencing, both parties will recommend a prison sentence of 8 to 20 years. The state will forego prosecution of all other charges arising from this incident. Robinson's public defender, attorney Daniel Martinez, concurred. The defendant was screened as to his understanding and acceptance of negotiations and the rights he would be waiving by entering into said negotiations. Robinson stated that he understood. The court found that Robinson has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to preliminary hearing and ordered that he be bound over to appear in district court on September 17th. Then the court ordered Robinson's preliminary hearing in justice court to be vacated, and the defendant was remanded to the custody of the Nye County Detention Center. Brandon Reading, the Pahrump man with a history of battery and various cases in justice court and district court, has his preliminary hearing waived. During the day of that scheduled proceeding in justice court, it was agreed that Reading will unconditionally waive preliminary hearing and enter a guilty plea in district court to attempted home invasion. The state will forego prosecution on all other charges arising from this incident. The defendant will stipulate to a 24 to 60-month suspended prison sentence for a probation of 5 years. And if the defendant completes probation, the state will not oppose the defendant withdrawing his guilty plea and entering a plea to an amended charge of trespass with 5 years of probation and credit for jail time served. Additionally, the defendant will enter a no contest plea in his case regarding domestic battery, first offense. This has been your court report. I'm Unette Gentry for News 46.
Thanks, Unette. Well, News 46 will return in just a moment with 2 arrests.